After our family reunion, I checked my account. It was drained. My brother-in-law snorted, "We needed it more than you." Trembling, I reached for my bag and said, "Then you won't mind what's coming next." As they laughed, a loud bang shook the house. The door flew open. "And you're seriously mad about this?" Hey everyone. Before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, supports the channel, and ensures you never miss out on amazing videos. Alright, let's get started. Seth leaned against the fridge, beer in hand, that smug half-grin glued to his face. "Relax. We needed it more than you." I blinked, my thumb hovering over the refresh button on my banking app. I'd already hit it 3 times. It still showed the same number, $87. That couldn't be right. Yesterday I had over $14,000. 14,000? You what? My voice cracked a little. Sarah, my sister, let out a laugh from the couch. She looked completely unbothered, legs curled under her, sipping wine like this was just another episode of Family Game Night. "Oh, don't be so dramatic," she said. "It's not like we stole it. We're family. You drained my account." "It's not draining if we're going to pay it back," Seth added with a shrug. "Eventually." My mouth opened, but no sound came out. I looked at Mom, sitting across the room with her knitting. She didn't even glance up. "Mom?" I said louder. "Did you know about this?" She sighed like I'd just accused her of ruining dinner. "Sweetheart, you're always so sensitive. You have a good job, no mortgage, no kids, you live alone, you're fine. So that justifies stealing from me?" "Language, Mason," Dad muttered without looking up from his phone. I turned to Sarah. "How did you even get access?" "You left your info on the family computer," she said, unapologetic. "Maybe next time don't log in and walk away." "Honestly, it's your own fault. My own." I stopped myself. My fingers curled into fists. My breathing had gone shallow. "You're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be," Seth said. "It's not like we wasted it on nonsense. We paid rent, bought groceries, survived." "You didn't ask." "We didn't think we had to," Sarah snapped. "You've been paying for stuff for years. What's the difference if it comes through you or from you?" I picked up my bag slowly. No one moved. No one apologized. No one even looked surprised. "You're leaving already?" Mom asked. "Yep," I said, zipping my coat. "But don't worry, I'll be in touch." "Don't be like that," Sarah rolled her eyes. "We needed it more than you. That's just facts." I reached for the doorknob, paused. "Then you won't mind what's coming next." They laughed, but outside something had already started. "You always helped. That's what you're for, right?" "Hey, you okay?" It was my cousin Jen, catching up to me outside as I marched to my car, fists clenched and jaw locked. "No," I muttered, yanking open the door. "I heard what Sarah said," she added carefully. "That wasn't right." I didn't answer, because if I spoke, I'd scream. The thing is, this wasn't the first time. For years, I've been the responsible one. The one with the stable job. The one who didn't need help. So somehow that made me the family wallet. It started small. Sarah forgot to pay her phone bill once. I covered it. Then Seth lost his job and asked to borrow a little something to get through the month. Then there was a birthday gift for their daughter I offered to pay for. Except I didn't. They just assumed I would. And every time, they made it sound like I owed it to them. "You're lucky, Mason," Mom would say, her voice sweet but sharp underneath. "You don't have the struggles your sister does. God gave you ease so you could share it." "Family means supporting each other," Dad chimed in more than once. "You wouldn't be here if it weren't for us." Translation: "We gave you life. Now give us your paycheck." I never asked for anything. Not when I was laid off for 6 months and lived off rice and eggs. Not when I skipped vacations for 3 straight years just to rebuild my savings. Not even when I helped pay off Sarah and Seth's credit card debt 2 years ago. They never paid me back. They never even said thank you. "You still coming to the family reunion?" Sarah had asked last week. "Yeah," I replied. "Should I bring something?" Her answer came quick. "Just bring yourself and your card." I thought it was a joke. Now I know it wasn't. 2 days after the incident, Sarah called me. I didn't answer. She called again and again. Then Seth texted, "Just call her man, she's freaking out." I finally picked up on the 5th try. "Mason," she started, her voice low, shaky. "We have a problem." "Oh, we do?" "Look, don't be like that. Something happened." I stayed silent. She continued, "The power company came today. We're behind on the bill, like way behind, and they're threatening to shut it off if we don't pay by Monday. So," she paused, "so we need your help." I laughed, a short, bitter sound. "You drained my savings and now you're asking for more?" "It wasn't just for us," she snapped. "We used some of it to help Mom and Dad too. Dad's car broke down last month, remember?" I wasn't told. "Because you always say no when it's not an emergency." "Sarah," I said flatly, "this isn't just messed up, it's criminal. You're being dramatic. It's family. You didn't ask me. We didn't think you'd mind. You've always helped. That's what you're for, right?" There it was. That's what you're for. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay awake going over every moment from the past 5 years. The favors, the small transfers, the way Mom always said, "You're the strong one." The way Sarah rolled her eyes if I hesitated for even a second. They never saw me as a brother, a son, a person, just a resource. 3 days later, Mom called. We need to talk. She didn't ask how I was. She didn't ask about my job. She didn't even ask about the missing money. We're planning a family dinner. Just us. Come over tonight. My stomach dropped. What's this really about? Mason, she said, her voice low. You've caused a lot of tension. I caused tension. Still, I went. Part of me wanted answers. The other part wanted to see if they'd even bother pretending to be sorry. They didn't. When I walked in, Sarah was already there, arms crossed. Seth sat beside her, looking bored. Mom was in the kitchen, Dad flipping through the mail like nothing had happened. So, Sarah started as I sat down. Are we going to act like adults or what? Depends, I said. You ready to confess to felony theft? She scoffed. God, you're so extra. It wasn't theft. It was family money. You always help. We needed it. Seth nodded. You can spare it, so why the drama? I didn't give permission. You didn't say no either. Because I didn't know details, Sarah muttered. I turned to Mom and Dad. And you're just okay with this? She looked away. We all agreed. You've always been the one who could handle it. No one even thought to ask. We trusted you. Dad chimed in. Trusted you to do what's right. I stood up. And what's right? Letting you steal from me while smiling to my face? Stop saying steal, Sarah shouted. It was for the family. Then you won't mind when the family deals with the consequences. What does that mean? Seth narrowed his eyes. I didn't answer. Not yet. You don't get to cry now. When I stepped inside the house, everyone was already there. Mom was setting the table, clinking plates louder than necessary. Dad sat on the couch, flipping channels like this was a normal Thursday night. Sarah stood by the window with her arms folded, jaw tight. Seth lounged at the end of the table like he was about to watch a game, not face the consequence of draining someone's life savings. Well, look who showed up, Sarah said dryly. I dropped my bag near the door, without a word. Let's just get this over with, I muttered. Good, Seth grinned. Maybe we can finally stop pretending you were robbed. I was robbed. I sat down. That was the cue. Mom cleared her throat. Mason, we know you're upset, but you have to understand, we were struggling. We didn't have any other options. Sarah and Seth, they were drowning. And you, Dad added, you've always been the stable one. We knew we could count on you. You didn't ask, I said, voice cold. You took. That's not family. That's theft. Sarah rolled her eyes. You're being so dramatic. We didn't spend it on crap. We used it where it mattered. No. I reached into my bag, pulled out a printed spreadsheet, and slammed it on the table. One for $72 on makeup, $900 on takeout, $2,300 to pay off your car loan, Seth. He didn't think I'd check. Seth leaned forward, face dark. You went through our accounts? Oh, I did more than that. I opened my laptop. The screen lit up with a neat color-coded breakdown. Every charge, every transfer, all traceable. I compiled every transaction. I filed a fraud report. And guess what? They got back to me. Sarah's eyes widened. You didn't. I did. You called the police? She shrieked. I turned to Mom. Still think this is just family business? This is insane, Dad snapped. You want to put your own sister in jail? You put yourself there. Then came the knock. 3 hard, heavy pounds against the door. Sarah went pale. Seth stood up too fast. Mom gasped and backed away. Dad froze. Open up! A voice shouted. Financial Crimes Unit. Knock, knock, knock. Seth turned to me, voice low. Mason, tell me you're not serious. I opened the door. 3 agents stepped in, jackets marked with bold letters. One carried a clipboard, the second a tablet, the third surveyed the room. You Mason Carver? Yes. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll take it from here. Mom covered her mouth. Sarah dropped into a chair like her legs gave out. Seth stood there, dumbstruck. One of the agents turned toward them. You're listed as parties of interest in an open case of financial fraud and identity theft. Identity theft? Mom cried. He's our son. The agent didn't blink. Family ties don't make illegal activity legal, ma'am. We didn't steal anything, Sarah cried. We had a right. He always helped us. He always. Thinking you're entitled to someone's money doesn't make it yours, another agent said calmly. Remain seated, please. I just stood back and watched. For the first time in my life, they didn't talk over me, didn't mock me, didn't laugh. Mom turned to me, voice shaking, eyes already filling with tears. Mason, please. We didn't mean to hurt you. We were just desperate. You've always been the strong one. You're the only one we could count on. I looked her dead in the eyes. You don't get to cry now. She covered her mouth and sobbed. Sarah tried to say something, but no words came. Seth looked ready to bolt, but sat down under the agent's stare. You want to talk about what family is? I said, stepping forward. It's trust. It's respect. It's asking, not assuming, not stealing, not laughing while you bleed me dry. They said nothing. I grabbed my bag from the floor and turned to the lead agent. I'll be outside. And this time, they didn't stop me. You're free now, Mason. Don't go back. I left the house in silence. No one chased me. No one called my name. For once, there was no guilt, no drama, no Sarah shrieking after me with her usual, "How could you?" Just the cold night air and the sound of tires crunching behind me as the investigators escorted them out one by one. I didn't stay to watch. That night, I drove without a destination, past closed coffee shops and glowing gas stations, my phone buzzing nonstop in the passenger seat. I didn't answer a single call. I didn't want to hear apologies shaped like excuses. By midnight, I ended up parked outside the only place that had ever felt like a safe harbor. My grandmother's old house. She'd passed a few years ago, but I still had the key. She used to say, "If they ever turn on you, Mason, you come here. The door will always open for you." And that night, it did. I slept for 11 hours straight. No texts, no guilt, no tension pressing down on my chest like it always did when I stayed near my family. When I woke up, I made coffee in a chipped mug and stood at the window, watching the sun crawl over the fence she used to garden behind. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe, but the silence didn't last. The first email came that afternoon, from Dad. "This has gone too far. You've humiliated the entire family. What happened to loyalty?" I didn't reply. Then Sarah texted, "I hope you're happy. They're freezing my accounts. Seth's being investigated at work. You ruined our lives over a couple of payments." A couple? Try tens of thousands of dollars. Try 5 years of silent sacrifice. Then came Mom, a voicemail, her voice soft, cracking. "You didn't have to do it this way. We could have handled it like a family, Mason. Sweetheart, please. They're threatening charges. They said we might lose the house." I replayed that line in my head. They might lose the house. And suddenly I wasn't angry. I wasn't vindictive. I just didn't care. Because I had already lost a home years ago, when they decided I was worth more as a bank account than a son. 2 days passed. Then a message popped up from someone I didn't expect, Seth's brother. We weren't close. Maybe said 5 words to each other at birthdays, but his text was simple. "Just so you know, Sarah's trying to shift blame on you. Says you knew and approved the money transfers. There's a lawyer involved. Watch your back." I almost laughed. Even now, even with everything crumbling, she was still trying to spin it. That night, I called my lawyer. "Send everything," I said. "We're not just pressing charges. I want a restraining order too." But not every message was hostile. A week later, I got a short email from Kelly, Seth's sister. "I know we haven't spoken in years, but I just wanted to say, you were right. About all of it. About how they treat you. About how toxic it's gotten. I used to think you were just cold. Now I think you were brave." I stared at her message for a long time. Brave. No one in my family had ever used that word on me. One morning, my phone rang again. Unknown number. I almost declined it, but something told me to pick up. "Mason." The voice was small, hoarse. "It's Sarah." I didn't say anything. She kept talking. "Look, I know I messed up, okay? I went too far. I didn't think it would go like this. Seth's been suspended. Mom won't stop crying. Dad won't even speak to me. And you." She hesitated. "You always had the power to ruin everything, and you finally did." I didn't speak for a moment. Then I said flatly, "I didn't ruin anything. I just stopped letting you walk over me." Silence. Then, "Can you just stop it now? Drop the charges, please. I'll do anything. Just make it stop." I almost felt something. Almost. But then I remembered what she'd said the night of the reunion. "We needed it more than you." I smiled bitterly. "No," I said. "You made this mess. You live in it." And I hung up. That night, I cooked myself dinner in peace, played my favorite album from college, sat on the porch with a mug of coffee and watched the world go by. And for the first time since I was a teenager, no one asked me for money. No one guilt-tripped me. No one made me feel like I was only valuable if I was giving something. I wasn't their wallet anymore. I was just me. And that was enough. I'm not your bank. I'm not your backup plan. I'm done. It's strange how quiet peace is. No one tells you that. You imagine it'll feel like fireworks or loud music or some grand celebration. But for me, peace sounded like no one asking me for money. No one calling me selfish. No one sending long texts with, "Since you're the only one doing well." Just silence. Glorious, uninterrupted silence. 3 months have passed since the night I blew everything up. 3 months since the investigation started, since my family stared at me in shock as agents walked through their front door and reality finally punched through years of delusion. They say you can't choose your family. Maybe that's true, but you can choose how much of yourself you're willing to lose trying to keep them happy. And I was done losing. The fallout came fast. Sarah and Seth tried damage control. First, a lawyer emailed my attorney, offering to privately resolve the situation. No apology, no ownership, just damage control. I told my lawyer, let it burn. A week later, Mom sent a letter, 10 pages. Her handwriting still neat, but trembling in parts. She wrote about how things got out of hand, how they never meant to hurt me, how she hoped I could see the bigger picture. "We just assumed you'd always be there," she wrote. That's what good sons do. That line stuck with me. Because it said everything. Not "we were wrong." Not "you didn't deserve that." Just "you were supposed to stay quiet and keep giving." I didn't write back. I didn't call. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty about it. I moved. New apartment, new state, no more accidental drop-ins from relatives, no more surprise visits from Sarah. I even changed my number. My boss, noticing how focused I'd become, offered me a promotion. I took it. It's funny how much better you perform at work when you're not secretly juggling your sister's car payments and your mom's overdue utility bills behind the scenes. I sleep better now. I eat better. I breathe better because I'm no longer carrying 4 people on my back who refuse to say thank you. Then one morning, a letter showed up. No return address. Inside, a check for $1,200 and a handwritten note. I left him. You were right. I was scared. But watching what you did, it gave me the courage to walk away too. This is for everything you paid for, Ellie. For the tablet, the rent, the clothes. I know Seth never thanked you, but I am. Thank you for being the example I needed. Kelly, I read it twice. Then I cried. Not out of sadness, not out of pain, but because for the first time someone in that family saw me. Not as a wallet, not as a scapegoat, but as a person. People ask me sometimes, do you regret it? And the answer is simple, no. I regret waiting so long. I regret every sleepless night, every canceled vacation, every tight budget I lived under while they dined out, shopped, and posted about grateful family vibes on Instagram. I regret the way I made myself small so they could feel big. I regret all the times I stayed silent when I should have said, you're crossing a line. But do I regret standing up? Burning it down? Never. My therapist once asked me, why did it take you so long to say no? And I said, because I thought that saying no meant I didn't love them. She nodded and said, saying no is how you teach people to love you back. I've never forgotten that. A few days ago, I ran into someone from high school. She said, hey, I saw what happened with your family. That's wild. I expected judgment or pity, but instead she smiled and added, good for you. Most people never get out. I thanked her. Then I walked away, feeling a little taller. Sarah and Seth are still under investigation. Last I heard, Seth lost his job. Sarah's bank account was frozen. Mom's trying to finance the house. And Dad's apparently blaming outside influence for tearing the family apart. They still don't get it. I didn't tear anything apart. I just stopped pretending the pieces were still whole. Sometimes I get flashbacks. That night, the table. Sarah laughing as I checked my account. Seth grinning like it was a joke. Mom brushing it off. You don't need that money, she said. And now they know the truth. That money wasn't just money. It was my life, my time, my health, my boundaries. And they crossed them, for years. Like it meant nothing. Now they pay the price. I don't celebrate their downfall, but I celebrate myself for surviving it, for walking away, for not going back, even when the silence felt lonely, even when the guilt whispered in my ear like it used to. Because that silence, it's freedom. So if you're reading this, and you've been the strong one, the responsible one, the good son or good daughter who's expected to pay and never say a word, let me tell you what I wish someone told me. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to walk away. And when you do, you don't lose a family. You find yourself. Like today's story, a super thanks helps me keep bringing you the best daily content. Your support means I can keep doing what I love. Thanks for being awesome.